Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is Luca Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. Don't forget also, if you want to listen to the show directly on the website, you can go to lovegunsfreedom.com for all the past show too. This is Luca Zanna, your host. And guess what? A lot of things been happening. Been kind of busy the last 2 weeks. I need to share some information during the second hour and third hour. We have a lot of great news, new projects, exciting things. Try to always move forward. Now, meanwhile, so much is happening. Seriously, this country, I really believe we are under a coup. And let me tell you something. I'm not a Trumpy. I know Trump has a lot of limitations and things that probably I don't agree on everything, but there is something going on. They're really trying to completely destroy this man. And don't get me wrong, when people are frustrated, and sometimes I'm frustrated myself because I wish Trump would do everything he's supposed to do or he said he was going to do. Guess what? Realize that he's just a guy, even he's the president. Congress, look what happened just a few days ago. The Republican Party shows its true colors. No matter what, the excuse that they've been saying when Obama was in office, guess what? We cannot do repeal Obamacare because Obama, after all, is going not to, sign it. Guess what? Now we know the truth. The Republican Party is a joke. And Senator McCain is a traitor, in my opinion, not just of the Republican Party. Forget about that. I don't care about the Republican Party anyway. About the American people. Okay, seriously. So I really hope we understand that we've been played by both sides, and it's time to wake up. It's time to realize that there is no really Captain America coming from Washington. I wish there was a real Captain America, bring some justice. So far, these parties has been a joke. They're owned by the same globalists. They're controlling not just this country, but all the other countries around the world. Now we need to wake up, understand, and start to stop this separation between Democrats and Republicans. Let's start to look at facts. Let's start to look at the real enemies behind the screen. That's why I want to bring on the show one of my best, really, people that I met during this experience, almost 4 years on the air. I learned a lot. And one thing I learned, first of all, that we've been all duped. All these parties, they're a joke. And it's time to go screw them, to the hierarchy, especially in Washington. I don't care even in Washington, even down in our own, headquarters. They try to control us. We're supposed never to follow the orders from any party. We're supposed to follow the orders from our consciousness, from our ethics, to what is right, what is wrong. And more important, if want to be part of this political life in America, the United States of America, we have the supreme law of the land, the Constitution. I know it sounds something like ridiculous when everybody in Washington or even state level, they're laughing. They took an oath to uphold the Constitution just because for the show, the day of the inauguration, when they take office, and then they completely disregard it. Things would be much easier if one thing at least we stick together. We have a Bill of Rights and Constitution, and government is supposed to be constrained by those two things. Simple as that. Now let me shut up. Let me bring this gentleman that I really admire him because he's been probably one of the few Democrats out there during the last campaign who did not go to bow down to Hillary Rodham Clinton, that corrupted bitch. Yes, I can say that. Okay? And this is beyond politics. Forget that she's a globalist. Forget that she's a joke. She said one thing, then she said another one. Forget about all those things. Forget that, it's almost a joke of dynasties, to have families going back and forth. Well, we have very criminal charges that are supposed to be brought against her, and nobody really is doing anything. Shows that there are two different set of rules, two different set of laws. We the slave, they will throw the book at us. and then them, the elite, they can do pretty much whatever they want. And that's why I really respect Ronald O'Donnell, who's been a Democrat for all his life, for 50 years. I mean, this is an hardcore blue-collar Democrat. And guess what? When he realized that he couldn't play that game, he wouldn't just go along with something that just because, is under the little party card. Unfortunately, the party, let's put it this way, and Ronald's going to tell you more now. Ronald didn't leave the party. The party left him, like many other people like him. And I'm sure this is no more the party of JFK. Let's put it this way. This party is about a globalist agenda to completely destroy the sovereignty of this nation. Ronald O'Donnell, are you there?
Yay, how you doing, Zanna?
I'm okay. Listen, I'm always excited to have you on because bring me a little bit of joy in these tough times when I see still a lot of Democrats, like a lot of Republicans, still having ham on their eyes, and defending their guys just because they have the card, in their pocket. So it really bring me a lot of joy to see people like you and remind me that there is hope. So please, I want to give you the floor. I know that you have a lot of news to update us coming from the Democrat headquarters, and then I will ask you some questions about President Trump. Go ahead, you got the floor.
Okay, everybody out there knows, we've been on the show now since you started about 3.5 years ago, and we were always on the leading edge of stories. I remember we were talking, I told you guys, I think one show or two ago, about California revoking all of the rights under the Second Amendment for California citizens to own arms and even ammunition, and how they're coming out to disarm California. Because they want to make us a lot like Mexico. You know how safe it is in Mexico not to have any weapons. You know how it's working out for them.
Yeah,
Chicago, too, I might add,
Besides the drug cartels, of course.
Right, and then we had like a story before that about years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, before the mainstream media picked it up, regarding Benghazi.
Yeah.
And the sellout of American weapons, to ISIS, which everyone knows now. But guess what? It came out on your show first. It was the very first show that picked it up. So what I am suggesting is perhaps there are people above us, in power, that are listening to this show. So I like to put things on this show that are leading edge information. We can repeat history, but where are we going as a society? Where are we going as a country? Where are we going as a nation? And that's what I like about Love, Guns, and Freedom. We have the opportunity here to discover for the very first time new information. That's what news used to be. We're not just regurgitating the past on Love, Guns, and Freedom. And while I have the opportunity, I want to just say this to the listeners out there. You need to share this show. You need to share the information. We, here in the desert, I call it the Inland Empire. You're over across the border, and you're the, the western frontier for Arizona. But we together are the desert. And we need to know the issues that affect both of us, even though we're across the Colorado River from each other. There's information that pertains to us equally. There are reasons why we are a depressed economy. It's intentional. It's not accidental.
Yes.
And, there's a reason why our property values are harmed. It's because they want to sell their property in L.A. They want to sell their property in San Diego. There's reasons for all this. But people in power, don't want us to know little secrets, power secrets. And I've got one for you today. But first, to follow up on where we stand here in the Democratic Party. It's pretty funny when you think about it. But the party chair in San Bernardino County right now has a little revolution going on where the chairperson has been voted out by people in the chair. They've called the police on us for the last two meetings. That would be June and July, and we've been evacuated from the building, and it's been pretty interesting. And I don't know what's going to happen this month, August, but on the 27th, the next meeting. But then again, so the chair is up in question. Who actually is running the Democratic Party in San Bernardino County is a question, because we voted out the chair, and now we have our own chair, and we have two different meetings now because we're tired of getting the cops called on us. All right. Now on a statewide level, the chair was challenged by one of the runners, and that is still ongoing. And, people don't realize it, but the state of California Democratic Party leaders are infighting, and it's almost 50-50, as it is down here in San Bernardino, 50-50.
Wow.
So, how come that it doesn't appear on the news media anywhere? And then think about it. The Democratic National Committee, which is out of Washington, D.C., which is the national party, it also has infighting going on there with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, being indicted or close to being indicted for the, not the Benghazi, but the email issue. That's all her. And Seth Rich, who was shot in the back, worked for her because he's the one that released the emails from the Democratic Party to directly WikiLeaks. Wow. So there was no Russia.
Wow.
We know there was never a Russia. Jeez. There was Seth Rich, who admitted that he did it. Of course, last July, when we had our show, we were talking about the emails here on Love, Guns, and Freedom. What we didn't know was Seth Rich was murdered. He was shot in Washington, D.C., coming out of a bar at, I think, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
They did not steal his watch, gold watch. They did not steal his wallet. They did not steal his money. He had about $1,000 on him. They did not touch him. The only thing they can't find is his laptop.
Wow.
These things are all going on.
Gee.
Now, remember, I'm not a lifetime politician. In fact, I never ran in my life. But since I ran, boy, do I get information.
Yeah.
And that's really why I like to share it with you. Because when you look at these facts, the National Democratic Party is in total disarray, and it's being enforced with a bullet. I'd like to hear a comment from you on that.
No, at least this is very true. I mean, you are not the only one. I mean, remember when the last show you burn you rip your Democratic Party card in sign of protest? I mean, and there is also, for example, I heard now a governor, I forgot which state, that
West Virginia.
Yes, not because this, and not because I'm a fan of Republicans. I mean, they're a scam too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, look what they did.
I had it too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that was last week.
Yeah, but as a form of protest, that was, very important. I mean, this Democratic Party is being taken over by the zombies, and really, there is a still...
No, come on. It's being taken over by the radicalized Islamic Muslims.
Yes.
We had this show, I told you, a year ago.
Yes.
That Mr. Hakam was going to go ahead and wind up being the chair of the Democratic Party in Washington, D.C., but he didn't win. The vice chair is the position that he got. And by the way, there was never any such thing as a vice chair in the DNC until he lost the chair.
Yeah. Wow.
So they created the position so that they could pacify the ignorant Democrats in this country into thinking that, there was a vice chair position. There's never been one. It's an honorary position, and it was created by the current chair, who is a DNC Hillary Clinton operative.
Yeah. No, this is it's huge. What's happening with the Democratic Party right now, as I said, They try to force all this propaganda, this completely nonsense. I mean, there are things now that if you don't follow by the rule, they don't want you anymore in the Democratic Party. They consider like, let's say, an enemy. Seriously, I mean, I was listening. I mean, think about it. The Democratic Party is supposed to be the party of the people. These people, they've been working, their agenda is to create globalism, is to create all these free trade agreements that they're not about free trade. It's about the destruction of the American workers. And if you don't get along with those topics, if you don't get along, for example, with abortion, they want you out. If you don't get along with the fact that you want to have a right like the Second Amendment as an American, oh, guess what? You are the enemy of the party. So they are really having an agenda, and the agenda is completely under the control of these globalists to destroy not just America, but the rest of every sovereign nation around the world. Now, what do you think? Do we going to have some justice with Hillary Clinton? I heard on the internet, and others say, I don't have enough information yet to validate that finally seems like that Attorney General Jeff Sessions, that I'm not a fan, by the way, for many other things, but seems like is going to reopen the case for Hillary Clinton for all the situation that, she's supposed to be accountable, like Benghazi, the emails, the server. What do you think? Something's going to happen or just going to be a wash?
Well, right now, today's news is that she's been offered a plea bargain to just admit to a misdemeanor, and that if she agrees that she committed a misdemeanor.
Wow.
That they'll dismiss all the charges against her. That's Jeff Sessions.
Wow. It's such a fraud. This is such a way out. I mean, this is such a...
Yeah, I'd take that deal. I'd take that deal. Misdemeanor means she could still maintain her national security clearance that she still holds, which should have been ripped away from her the moment all this started. So, that I'm questioning what's going on there. I'm going to follow up with you later on that. But I want to talk to the people in Mojave County.
Go ahead.
Personally right now. And I know you guys are over there in Kingman area and Laughlin and, pretty much along the Colorado border. And you're saying, well, what the hell do I care about all this? What does all this Democrat talk have anything to do with me? Well, let me tell you, it has everything to do with you. And I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
I got a phone call, interesting, last week, from, I'm going to allow the name contact to be anonymous, but he started off with, he's a big politician, just moved out here from Washington, D.C. He's been out here about a year, he says. And I already knew who he was. When Hillary lost, she all of the Democrats that were, in her campaign for the DNC, which she controls to this day, were sent to California to, quote unquote, and I have my hands up, support California congressional district candidates. Now, I'm running for U.S. Congress here. Yeah, I decided to do that, and I already have my FEC license and everything and number and all that and all, But it's only because I threw my hat in the ring. Okay. So I get the phone call. So he goes on and he opens with, I'm a tremendous Hillary fan, and I said, well, did you look at the list on the body count list? We have 2 more dead bodies show up in Florida just this week, number 48 and number 49. I said, did you, recognize the dead bodies here? And, he didn't laugh. I thought he would go ahead and chuckle a little bit or something. He didn't even think it was funny at all. I said, but let me ask you, you said you were in the military. He's about my age, 65. For a number of years. I wonder what you did. I said, but do you remember the quote when you were standing there and they asked for volunteers? And all your friends would say, don't volunteer because you don't know what you're volunteering for.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's exactly where we are right now with the Democratic Party. So why are you calling? What's the point here? No, I don't like Hillary. He knew that. No, and I already suspect he was CIA. I know that. I have his phone number. But he was filling me out. And he said, well, how do you feel about CADIZ, C-A-D-I-Z? The CADIZ amendment. And I said, well, I think that was resolution is what it's called. I said, it hasn't been passed. It's proposed. I said, I think that was very well written. But see, between you and I hadn't really read it thoroughly. I didn't read it until after we got off the phone. Now I'm going to report it to you.
Yeah.
The CADIZ resolution that everybody in the Democratic Party is up in arms about is taking what's left of the Colorado River away from Lake Havasu, Lake Mead, all the way up to Mono Lake. And building a pipeline called the CADIZ project. You guys can Google it yourself. Wow. I did. CADIZ project, water project. And diverting that water along a rail line, the existing rail line, which is on Highway 10. It goes right through you guys all the way to Kingman.
Yeah.
Using that right of way and taking it directly to Los Angeles, bypassing San Bernardino, my district, and every other city from here to LA, and just basically giving it to LA. Gee. Now, what's that going to do? Billions of acre feet taken out from the aquifer. CADIZ is an aquifer, guys, and it's underground. And it's the largest aquifer of water in North America. That's an interesting concept. You didn't know what's under the ground where you live. You have a well, and maybe you're going down, I don't know how many feet. Well, on the California side of the border, we're going to take your water.
Wow.
We're going to start taking billions of gallons of water out of that aquifer, which we share equally between California and Arizona. But when I take water out of my San Bernardino side, county, remember, goes all the way to the Colorado River, my district, then I'm actually draining your water from Arizona.
Wow.
But we are divided politically.
Wow.
So that means that my side of the water district political party better join up with your side. I don't even know who is running for U.S. Congress that represents your district, whether it be Democrat or Republican. But I suspect it's Republican.
Yeah, so normally here, I mean, there is probably some Democrat too, but mostly this is a Republican district anyway. Yeah. Wow.
Well, guess what? The major plan is to drain, not the swamp, your water well.
Gee, this is I wonder how they can do that because at the end of the day, Mojave County is supposed to have some saying too. If they're trying to dig a hole in Mojave County and ship all the water out all the way to California, somebody must give the approval here too. I mean, and also the state. I mean,
not the way it's written. No, guys, that's what I keep trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Not the way this is written.
Okay.
Because the aquifer is so large. It's a lake under the desert.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. We are one of the best sources of water.
If I drain my end of the lake, the whole lake goes down.
Yeah.
That's how they're doing it. In other words, the aquifer is an underground lake.
Gee.
I tapped in on the San Bernardino side of the Colorado River. I don't need to ask you on your side, especially if you don't even know about it. I know no one in Mojave Desert has ever heard this before.
Wow.
I know no one has reported it on the news. That's why I called you and asked you if you allow me to be on your show.
Of course, of course. This is a break. I mean, really, people. Let's verify it. As I said, I want to find the hard copy of all this. This is devastating news. This is that dangerous news. I mean, could be also a very bad hit for all the population here, because if you have no water, you live in the middle of the desert, your property, your real estate, it's worth zero. That's the reality.
Exactly.
I mean, we're gonna be.
Exactly.
I mean, well, we need to be very careful and active here, because they're doing in front of our eyes. I don't even know about in front of our eyes, because I didn't know about this, and you just told me.
Right. They're doing it behind your back, and that's why no
Exactly.
one there knows about it.
Exactly.
And on the Love, Guns, and Freedom show, the people in Mojave County are, for the very first time, learning about it. And they say today, oh, well, it doesn't really affect me. Okay? Well, let me just tell you this. There was a 93-mile river called Riverside River
Yeah.
that went all the way from San Bernardino County. The dam is right behind my house.
Yeah.
People don't even know it's there.
Yeah.
And now the river from San Bernardino all the way down through Santa Ana and all the way out through Irvine and all those cities, Anaheim, all the way to the ocean, is nothing but bare rock.
Yeah.
All that water, the dam that you didn't even know is right behind my house, it's been there, diverts that water to fuel and feed L.A. It's called the L.A. Water District.
Yeah.
And there's movies about the power of the L.A. Water District back in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s, run by the mob. Well, let me tell you what, they're out of water. They drained a 93-mile river. You don't think they're going to drain your aquifer?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is.
It's happened before, and they did it behind people's back.
Wow.
Now, I'm here to tell you guys, wake up. Share this this video, I called it. I wish it were a video. Radio station interview with everyone you know. And it's not enough to listen to this and do nothing. I want you guys to get proactive, because if you are out of water, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to notice the water quality in your, home is getting poorer and poorer and poorer, depending on where that aquifer lies in your area.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be an empty bubble that'll just emit gas with the water.
Wow.
Because gas flows above water level. So you'll be getting, for a period of time, some water, some gas. You'll see like air coming out of your pipe along with water, along with, the contaminants. But that may go on for a couple of years, and you'll be drinking that and getting your cancer and whatever you want to get. But then after that, there will be no water coming to you.
Yeah.
Unless you go and you can afford to drill, another 1,000 feet down.
Yeah.
Then the next year you're going to have to do another 1,000 feet. So you're going to be permanently drilling for water. That's where you're going to be spending your money and your children's money. And that's why your property values will be worthless.
Exactly.
You need to get together on this, people. And remember, I'm not a politician. I never ran in my life. I'm 65. I ran at 63. I didn't know any of this. If I would have known this when I was a young boy right out of law school, I would have been different about all of it. But I hated politics. But I'm in this deep, so I'm not walking away at 65. I'm going to follow through, and I'm going to tell everybody the truth with your help, because I know your show is dedicated to telling the truth and only the truth. So I'm going to say to anyone right now that's listening to this, go online, Google it before they take it down. CADIZ Water Project, California. And there are thousands of photo images, documents, things that you can go ahead and look up to see that this plan has been in progress for 30 years.
This is really, I'm shocked, and I need to really investigate myself. I'm glad you told me this. Niste, how can people, if they want to reach you and also support you, regardless of where we are, we're all connected, as you can see, for your Congress, for your congressional seat. If people want to support you, contact you, please, can you give me a website or a phone number, whatever you can?
Okay, well, the best way to stay in touch with me is through my website, foreclosureammunition.com, where I have free videos on, homeowners getting pretty much illegally foreclosed on nationally, and the banks taking super control over everybody and everything, to the point that we are going to be, reduced to nothing but renters and slaves. And that's what I've been fighting against since 2000 and, let me guess, 8. And we're learning more and more every day. I don't like what I'm learning every day. I'm not happy to report this to you. I'm reporting it only because it's something that needs to be discussed. And for the record, they're using the word monument, national monument, instead of calling it what it is, a water project. Yeah. But the water project plans that I'm looking at, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the pipeline, the proposed pipeline, and they're going to run it along the railroad tracks, so they don't need to get easements. They don't have to disturb anybody. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd like to hear your comments before we hang up.
Listen, this is, unfortunately, nothing really surprises me, because the idea is this one. It's part also of a global plan or relocation of humanity. What they're trying to do is Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. It's an international plan by the United Nations, and they will use resources, in this case the water, to and also property taxes, like you were talking before, to, let's say, migrate the population like a bunch of cattle. Instead of rounding us up in the trains, now they will destroy our property value. They will remove water and control the weather. Don't forget, they've been doing weather modification the last 10 years, at least in the Southwest, at least at the new level. And this weather modification that is being completely now on the open, so much that former CIA director Mr. Brennan, just a few months ago, last year, at the Council of Foreign Relations, and I played this audio and video a few times, admitted that the United States government and other governments around the world are using weather modification to fight global warming. That's the excuse. But the reality is that they are destroying the environment, and they are destroying also the aquifers, because we have no more precipitations like we used to have here in the desert. And now the last thing they need to remove to completely deplete our aquifer, so there is not going to be any more life here in this part of the Southwest. And what they want, their final goal, is to direct us like cattle in the big cities. They want everybody, according to Agenda 21, that's on the open. I mean, that's no more conspiracy out there. In these big cities, that we have no property rights. We will live in this sort of units provided by the government, like, 125 to 100 feet, square feet tops, like a bunch of, sardines. And we have no more transportation. Of course, that's a sin. To own a car is not something that we can do as slaves. But the elite, meanwhile, all these different, pro global warming stuff, they fly jets, private jets, like, Al Gore. But the point is, that's nothing surprises me, really. What surprises me, the fact that it's happening right now with this situation with the water plant. And I am glad, Ronald, that you came on the show to break this news, because we got to really now spread this message to everybody around the county, everybody around the state. Because if they're doing it here in Mojave County, they weren't going to do it probably everywhere else. But more important, the state must be involved too, our Arizona state. Ronald, I do really appreciate everything you do as a human being, as an American. I want to just ask you before I let you go, what do you think about this point Donald Trump, really is really a threat of this globalist, or is part, your opinion, of their agenda, like a distraction? Because I know that there is something they really hate him. Even sometimes, it's not perfect, but I really think it's getting on their nerves and it's slowing down their plans. What do you think?
I think that Donald Trump represents the American citizens that are patriots, that believe in the United States of America, that believe in our men and women in uniform, that believe in our police officers, that believe in our educational system, and that the hatred that is being portrayed against Donald Trump is basically hatred against us. Donald Trump has no friends in the Republican Party. Donald Trump has no friends, certainly, in the Democratic Party. The only friends of Donald Trump are the American people that voted for him.
Yeah.
That's truly what I think. And I'm saying to the American people that voted for him, don't expect any help from either party. For the first time in history, the American people have actually spoken up. Remember, Donald Trump defeated the Republican Party before he even got on the ballot. And then he defeated the Democratic Party on the ballot. He did it without the help of Republican money. He did it without the help of Democratic money. He did it only because Americans like you and me voted for him.
Yeah.
Cross party lines. That's why there's so much dissent in the parties, including the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, from the state level to down to the county level and even higher to the national level. They don't know what to do because Americans are speaking up.
Yeah. No, I believe that's true. I believe that as much as I said, I wish you would do more, and many things I may not agree, but the point is really a threat to the globalists, is a threat to both parties. I mean, one thing I'm disappointed, honestly, Jeff Sessions, he is no friend of Donald Trump. He's no friend of all the American people. What he's been doing,
the Hillary plea bargain. I'll take that plea bargain. I want to hear about the 49 dead bodies.
Yeah. And
I think we need to go ahead and an investigation on who has Seth Rich's computer, his laptop, and to see who's been using it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And on top, let's talk about the Russia. Let's talk about the Russian connection. But why don't we talk about Hillary and the foundation, all the billions that the money that they've been taking to their foundation, and then their real uranium deal with Russia. I mean, that stuff, it's real. I mean,
Hillary sold, when she was Secretary of State, 20% of the entire uranium that the United States processes to Russia.
Wow.
Now, what's interesting, Hillary, that she had Joe Biden's son, Beau Biden, B-E-A-U, who was the Attorney General of, I think, Delaware or Connecticut, excuse me. You can Google it, as the president of that company.
Yeah.
In return for $145 million that Russia paid to the not the Democratic Party, sorry, to the Clinton Foundation, and they also paid Bill Clinton cash for a half an hour to an hour speech of $500,000 when he went over there.
Yeah.
Her husband. And if you notice, the only Russian connection is our uranium going to Russia. Thank you, Hillary Clinton. But that's where the Russian connection lies. So what does she do?
Yeah.
She's really evil, in my opinion. She blames Trump for having a Russian connection. Oh, my God, guess what? Every company in America has a Russian connection. Every car dealer sells automobiles to Russia. Every steel manufacturer sells steel to Russia. Oh, Russia connection, Russia connection.
Yeah.
No, let's cut it down to the wire. The Russian connection that we're talking about are the illicit kickback payments to the Clinton Foundation of $145 million that we know of directly to Bill and Hillary Clinton, $500,000 that we know of that when Bill went over there on his tarmac in Russia, went out there, did a half an hour speech, and got $500,000 cash to go home with.
Wow.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. So what her strategy has been is to blame Trump for what she did.
Yeah. And
so every time they blame Trump, you got to look at what did these people do? Why are they calling it a Russian connection? I mean, come on. It's because she's covering up.
Yeah.
Let me just finish with this. She took $1.5 billion from Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries to finance her campaign as president.
Yeah.
As long as Sessions and the FBI, Comey and now I guess the new guy, and the generals are all focused on the Russian connections, we don't talk about the greater one, the $1.5 billion in Muslim money that was given to the Democratic Party National Committee to elect their representative called Hillary Clinton. That's the secret story they do not want out any more than they want out the Cadiz Project.
Yes.
TADIZ, Colorado River Aqueduct. They're going to build another one just to go down to San Diego and supply LA and drain every ounce of water we have left in the desert. And if they could find out a way to steal our sand, they would certainly do that.
Yeah. Listen, I want to say thank you. This is exactly the purpose of the show. We have no allegiance to none but the truth. And I'm glad what you're saying here, all the facts that you bring in about Hillary, you are probably the poster child for the real Democrat, okay? But a Democrat who loves America and loves the truth before his own party. And he does not play with corruption. That's why I like you about that. This is not about parties. And people start to bring, I have heard Democrats start to bring, Bush or other things. Listen, evil doesn't justify new evil. I mean, I'm all for, exposing Bush. But we cannot justify evil now just because, there was other evil before. We need to stop evil, period. That's the point. I don't care if it's a Bush, if it's Hillary or whoever. Now we have this situation that we need to at least investigate because it's so sad, We have people rotting in jail for really no crimes. We have people that they're facing years, 100 years in jail. I'm not kidding. Look at the Bundys and their trial. For no violent crime, nothing. Nobody got hurt. They're facing 80, 90 years. And we have people like Hillary who are really blood on their hands. And nothing's happening to her. This is no more America. This is not justice. This is a completely joke right now. And we need to bring back justice and the rule of law. Otherwise, there is no more really a country here. So I want to thank you because this is coming from you. As I said, this show does not belong to any party. I have allegiance to none. About the truth and the Constitution of America. That's why I like you, Ronald. Listen, thank you very much. And I'll be in touch with you. I have to go now. We have a little break. We are closing this hour. I have the devastating news about a bill that already has been...
30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Can I get 30 seconds?
Go ahead, of course. Go ahead.
People, help us stay alive. Buy Zanna Coffee. You think it's silly? No. It actually helps support the program. It helps support information that we can distribute like we just did today. It's because we need to keep the Love Guns and Freedom radio station alive. And through little things like buying Zanna Coffee. You need coffee anyway, get it from Zanna Coffee. It's online.
I appreciate it.
But
and that's true. That's true.
We need to support each other.
That's true, because I tell you, this show, of course, the station plays support K-Talks and all the other stations that broadcast this show. But me as an independent producer, I'm not going out to try to beg for sponsor when I know that pretty much most of the business that they have a pretty much party mindset, especially in the county. If you blast the Republican Party, you're not going to get anywhere around here. And that's fine. I don't care. That's why all people I need is my listeners. That's it. I need your support, and I appreciate it. You can download any of my songs for just 99 cents. Go to zanna.us or on amazon.com. And of course, if you want to get Zanna Coffee, go to www.zannacoffee.com. Ronald, thank you very much. I'll be in touch with you. Don't go away. Stay there. And please, ready for the final segment of this hour. I have very, very devastating news. A bill they're trying to pass in the U.S. Congress. If you boycott Israel, you can spend 10 years in jail and become a felony for life. This is very serious. These people need to read our Bill of Rights, our First Amendment. Okay, don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
237 members of the House, both Republicans and Democrats, have co-sponsored similar bills that would make it a felony to support the BDS movement. BDS, or the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions Movement, is a response to calls from Palestinian civil society for non-violent measures to pressure Israel to comply with international law and respect Palestinian human rights. It's modeled after South Africa's anti-apartheid movement of the 70s and 80s. The legislation, called the Anti-Israel Boycott Act, would make it illegal for individuals to participate in boycotts called for by international organizations. That includes boycotting products made in Israeli settlements that were built on Palestinian land in violation of international law, something the European Union already does. Anyone who violates the law would face a minimum civil penalty of $250,000 and a maximum criminal penalty of $1 million and 20 years in prison. That's more time than most rapists spend behind bars. It gets worse. Several of the bill's co-sponsors didn't even realize it violated free speech or came with such harsh penalties. Our colleagues at The Intercept reached out to Democratic Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, and he said, "What's the act? You'll have to get back to me on that." They received a similar response from Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey. He said, "I'd want to read it. I'd really have to look at it." And these are the bill's co-sponsors. But the most interesting response The Intercept received came from the bill's primary sponsor.
If we had criminal sanctions in it, we go to judiciary. I just don't think that's in our bill.
So, a bill whose sponsors seem out of the loop at best is working its way through Congress. This comes after the powerful pro-Israel group AIPAC lobbied both houses of Congress for these bills and made passing them one of its top priorities for 2017. The ACLU has condemned both the Senate and House attempts to criminalize the BDS movement. In recent letters to Congress, the organization called the move a mockery of the constitutional principle that Americans are free to believe as they choose, and also wrote that such boycotts rightly enjoy First Amendment protection. The proposed legislation in Congress is just the latest in a growing crackdown on BDS. At least 21 states have considered or adopted bills to ban state officials from doing business with anyone who supports the BDS movement. And BDS supporters across college campuses have come under attack with accusations of being anti-Semitic, despite the fact that the movement enjoys considerable support from Jewish advocates of Palestinian rights. This new legislation may be getting support from politicians on both sides of the aisle, a rare thing given the current political climate in the US. But cracking down on free speech and political activism, that doesn't sound very American.
Okay, no, that's disturbing. And I want to be sure everybody understands out there. I don't give a crap about Palestine. I don't give a crap about Israel. I care about America and our Constitution and Bill of Rights. So not because, I'm here, let's say, exposing this fascistic bill that they try to suppress our First Amendment, that if you boycott Israel, you may face 20 years in jail. I mean, what, $250,000? This is insane. I want to boycott the Pope. I will boycott anybody I want. So this is about freedom. I want to be sure, because I wish the best. I wish the best to Israel. I wish the best to Palestine. They need to sort it out. They've been fighting each other for 2,000 years. And now at this point, you know what? They need to do it with our money. Okay? We are not anymore Israel's bitch. I'm tired to be forced to pay tax dollar. Talking about socialism, all these constitutionalists, they call concept conservatives, Republicans, that they even Democrats, they don't care. I mean, but the Democrats, we already know they love socialism, and the Republicans, they're supposed to be for lower taxes. Guess what? Our tax dollar is going by the billions going to Israel. That's the point. So anyway, let me shut up. This is I wanted to share with you because it's very disturbing what's happening, what they're trying to do in Congress, try to criminalize freedom of speech. We're supposed to have the right to express our political opinions, economic opinions, and of course, if we want to boycott, we boycott everybody. This is not about Israel or Palestine. It's about freedom. Anyway, I got 1 second here, 1 minute or two. Mr. Ronald O'Donnell, my friend, Democrat friend, that, he got some exciting news. We recorded the interview yesterday, and he got some sort of a communication from his party. Ronald, are you there?
Oh, I'm sure here. Yeah, how you doing, Zanna? How's everybody doing? Everybody buy some Zanna Coffee. My favorite is Route 66.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. Lisa, tell us exactly what happened. We finished our recorded interview that we just played on the air a few minutes ago before this segment, and you got a communication from your party. What happened, or what's supposed to be your party?
Well, the political director of the entire California party is Clark Lee. First time I ever heard of that, but that's who he is. Mm-hmm. And he says on behalf of the Democratic Party chair, which remember that they're fighting who's the chair? It's not even done yet.
Yeah.
I'm writing to inform you that the California Democratic Party removal petition filed by some fellow Jeff Koertzen. How do you pronounce that? Coercion. But I know he's a LGBT XYZ member. Mm-hmm. For the removal of Ronald O'Donnell will be reviewed by the statewide officers following the August executive board meeting, August 25th to 27th. A hearing may be set thereafter to consider the member removal petition. Well, what this is telling me is that our communications are, one, not secure, two, that the Democratic Party Central Committee is listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom radio show.
Well, it's fun.
I mean,
the show,
wow.
we never recorded, we never heard this part of the show yet. That was fun.
Right, but I'm saying that we only did that yesterday.
Yeah.
At around 3 or 4 o'clock, and I get a response to the show that you haven't. It won't even be out until Sunday.
Yeah.
We did this on Thursday, and they're already responding to it. What's that? I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
But how do they know what Sunday's show is going to sound like on Thursday at 8 o'clock, 4 hours after we did the show? We taped it.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I mean, it must have been reading your mind because, the show was recorded and we didn't air it till a few minutes ago right now on the air when people are listening. But listen, as I said before to you, they tried to oust you from the party. Guess what? They are not the party anymore. I mean, this is the bottom line. These people are not Democrats. These people...
They're struggling. It's in chaos. They're scrambling. They're doing whatever they can. This guy he's emailing me saying that I'm supposed to beg him for some kind of forgiveness. So let me give you my response. It's brief.
Go ahead.
I just responded with, before any hearing regarding me, I'm entitled to a complete contact information of anyone who signed the petition at least 30 days in advance of the hearing so that I can verify those signatures under the Democratic Party bylaws. I have not received any contact information as of yet. Keep in mind that I was seated as an ex officio California Democratic Party member by over 141,751 voters, and not by Chris Robles, former chair of the San Bernardino County Central Committee, which is, by the way, contested too, or the California State Democratic Party. In other words, I'm saying I was placed in there by the voters, not by the political people. The voters put me in.
Yes.
And I went further and said I'm entitled to legal counsel to challenge those signatures, and I intend to do that. If you do not like that, then change the Democratic Party bylaws in order to affect the results that you wish to make. Also, you did not leave me any contact information regarding you. Please do so in all further communications.
Wow.
I will not back down. In addition, I happen to know that you do not speak for the chair, Eric Bauman. Eric has my contact information, and we have spoken personally, and if he had any issue, that he would contact me directly.
Ronald, 30 seconds. We have 30 seconds. We have to close. Go ahead.
Okay. Additionally, if the committee must make any decision regarding a recall, it's not you. Perhaps it's time for a new political director. It is time for a change in the Democratic Party, starting with you.
Wow.
Ronald Donald, candidate for United States Congress.
Very good, Ronald. I'll need to let you go, but listen to me. I'm proud of you because this is exactly the spirit of independence, the spirit of freedom, that we do not submit to any type of authority, especially when it's corrupted. That's my point. I don't care which party leader, and that's what we need to do to change, to take back this country. I don't even want to change. I would like to take it back. That's the bottom line. And as I said before, I don't. I would never be like to associate it to any party or anybody in the party who supports. Forget about different political opinions, and not even that the point. Who supports an alleged criminal like Hillary Clinton. That's the bottom line. This is not about more politics. It's about supporting and aiding a criminal. Okay, listen, guys.
Well, that's what our hearing's going to be all about.
Very good.
Hillary Clinton, traitor to the United States government.
Excellent. This is coming from a 50 years old, old-timer Democrat. Okay, guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Do not go away. Great second hour, all about guns and great information. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.fm network.